The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
I'm Anisha Ramakrishna, and I'm an Indian entrepreneur and TV personality with big dick energy. You may know me from Bravo TV's Family Karma and, of course, social media. I grew up in a very conservative Indian family, but I have always forged my own path and lived life on my own terms. I recently left my successful career in New York City and my long-term relationship to pursue my own fashion business. I'm single in my mid-30s and I live with my parents. I'm currently cringing and I know you are too. Join me as I spill the chai on my own cringeworthy personal life experiences every Thursday, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
I've got visions in my head. People tell me that I'm crazy. I tell them that's exactly it. I've got reasons for my absence. People tell me that I'll burn out. I tell them I'm not like the rest.
Hi guys, welcome back to the I Love You So Much podcast. I have some good news and I have some bad news. We'll start with the bad news. Well, it was my birthday weekend. It was my birthday on Sunday and we had a whole weekend of like other things. It wasn't all my birthday, but we had a big fun weekend, right? I went to the Taylor Swift Club 90s thing in Dallas. The next night we went to a country concert and we got a party bus. The next night I went to a church service. And to be honest, I actually do believe it's a church service that really set me over. My voice is gone. It's shot. Do I have incredibly important meetings today? Yes. Am I incredibly irresponsible? Yes, but I didn't think I would actually lose my voice. I think I'm just getting older. The good news, though, is that Dominique Roberts is here on the intro, and she'll be here on the listener call-in section. I still don't have a name for that, by the way. If you come up with a good one, let me know. Where you guys call in, you leave a voicemail, and we give you our advice or answer your questions. So she'll be around for that as well. Yeah. How are you?
Guys, how's it going? It's such an honor to be on the I Love You So Much podcast. That's your new,
My jingle.
Your jingle.
Can you record that? Oh my God. Should we talk about the rap?
Oh, let's talk about the rap.
Every single year, my friend Mark, who I've known for most of my life, he writes me a poem for my birthday. I think this is actually our 10th year of poems, whatever. This year, it was a rap that he sent me at midnight. He produced the thing. It was incredible.
Shout out to Beach Bum.
Yeah, shout out Beach Bum. If you guys want to hear the rap, it is on my Instagram. I posted it as an IGTV thing. You know what? Let me just throw in a little clip here, okay?
My favorite part in the rap is when he refers to you as a creature of the nightlife.
Breadwinning housewife, creature of the nightlife. I need to get that part 1 sec.
She's the girl all the girls want to be, man. She even got the party bus for the free, man. We go way back, trust in me. I knew her back when she was McKinsey, back when we lived in McKinney, before she moved to Hollywood or Dallas, and we'll still be friends 10 years from now in her Dollywood palace. Breadwinning housewife, creature of the nightlife, name in the bright lights, fame in the hype, right? But she never changed for the likes or the limelight. Always did the same, so let's celebrate her life, right?
I mean, it was incredible.
I'm going to refer to you now as a creature of the nightlife.
Oh my God. Thank you, Tom. I need some more energy from you. You're not really talking much.
Listen. I think that this weekend was jam-packed. I went hard this weekend too, Kenzie, and maybe I didn't lose my voice, but I lost my motor functions.
I would say I do this about every weekend. I just don't lose my voice. So it's not really like this was like that much crazier of a weekend.
Well, I just had a lot of realizations this weekend. First off, update you guys. I want a country man. I want a country boy. And it hit me when I'm sitting at the Dos Askeys Pavilion. I'm sitting there and all of a sudden, like this rush of pride swept over me. And I just realized I want a man from the country. I want a simple life. I want small town living. And it was there when the country music was playing that all these boys in their cowboy boots and their Wrangler pants and their little trucker hats, I don't know, it was kind of doing it for me this weekend, you guys. So that was the first realization. The second realization is that I missed my calling to be a pop star. And this hit me when I was on the party bus singing my life out, dancing, and I was like, I could have been a rap star like Megan Thee Stallion.
You honestly, it's not too late.
It isn't too late.
You know what, Tom? You're never too far gone.
Thank you, Kenzie, for these encouraging words, because you know what I think my pipeline's going to be? It's going to be like activist influencer, gone trashy influencer, to like fights, you know, so I'm going to start like fighting like TikTok influencers to rap career. Kind of like a Bad Baby train.
Ooh,
and if I get
that.
my feature on Dr. Phil, I think that that'll really kind of skyrocket some stuff. So I'll be
honestly, Dom, we
brainstorming.
could probably get you on Dr. Phil if we pitched it after this past year.
I'm going to brainstorm ways to get myself on Dr. Phil, but like him interviewing me, like an intervention.
Also, Tom, why? Last night, I do have one question for you. I forgot this because I woke up to this and I just, honestly, I don't know, I somehow forgot. I woke up to a text of Dom sending me a photo of me and my boyfriend from when I was 12.
You guys.
I have so many questions from Facebook. Why were you looking through my Facebook from 2012?
Kenzie, I was looking through your Facebook from 2012 because I love you. And I was like, have you ever just had those moments where you love your friends so much that you start creeping on them? I do this. I've gone all the way down on your Instagram, just being like, oh my gosh, Kenzie, like, look how far
Is this because he Snapchatted us yesterday, or is this just in general?
Oh, no. So last night, I was just thinking about how much I love you. So I was just going through your Facebook, just looking at your life. You know, you're 24 now on your birthday. And all of a sudden, I got to the good stuff of one of Kenzie's.
We went to Trail Dust that night. It was like a homecoming thing.
Oh.
So that's why we're dressed like that.
Let me paint the picture. Kenzie is wearing a floral dress.
Those are my first cowboy boots.
With cowboy boots and this really chunky statement necklace. And her man's is wearing blue jeans, a Western belt with like a big buckle on it, and a plaid shirt. And I just want to say they're kind of like cowboy cowgirl royalty. They're giving very much.
We got voted cutest couple in the yearbook. Thank you very much.
No, like it's giving everything it was supposed to have, gave and more. I think the last thing that I want to leave everyone on knowing like where I stand with this weekend is I missed my frozen marg at the Rustic, but I did have an incredible frozen marg. Can I call it Jexa?
Yes, I would prefer that you call it Jexa.
That's what I want to call it.
Backstory, Jexa is a very big like concert venue, but growing up it was named Jexa and they've changed the name and we're all just annoyed by it. To give you guys some context.
Anyways, Jexa.
Justice for Jexa.
Justice for Jexa, like justice. But I will say that they had a frozen marg there that they put in an electric guitar, like plastic cup, very trashy, very Vegas. And I miss it. I wish I took it home. I'm having my people reach out to their people.
Okay, so we have Mary, Ralph, and Kennedy on the show today of Daily Drills. And actually, Dom knows Kennedy. So would you like to intro them? I love them so much. This is a great episode. I love Daily Drills. I adore them. I wish that I could talk more, but my voice is just so annoying. So Dom's going to take it from here.
You guys, this is an episode that you need to dig into right now. Get your journals out. Get your pens out. This is going to be an incredible episode with two snatched queens. Are you kidding me? You've seen everything they've been posting. You've seen all the clothes they've been dropping. These are two legends that you need to listen to right now. So let's tune into our favorites, Mary and Kennedy from Daily Drills.
Guys, this is so exciting. I'm so happy to be here. Okay, I am so glad you guys are here. Can you guys give a little backstory? I know that you're from Texas originally and Washington. Also, I live for your Instagram stories when you're home. Oh my gosh. Because they're the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
I love Washington.
It's
in the summer.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Mary Ralph. I'm from Austin, Texas girl. I moved to LA when I started college, Malibu actually. I went to Pepperdine, which was so fun. I wish I still lived in Malibu. I don't know why I ever left. Yeah, that's kind of how I landed in LA. I worked for Startup Culture in college, for Bumble doing influencer marketing, social, all of that sort of stuff. When I graduated, I started a business with my twin sister who still lives in Texas. So I was going back and forth a ton, but kind of wanted to plant my roots more in LA. And I love home. So Mom, if you're listening, I might move one day. But for now, LA's the place for me. So that's sort of how I landed here. I live in Brentwood now and obviously work for Daily Drills. And we'll probably cover how that story came about later. But that's how I am where I am right now. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Washington, like you said earlier. I moved to LA 7 years ago, I think now. I stopped counting. But I moved here originally for school. I went to LMU, Loyola Marymount. I grew up traveling to LA literally like 3 times a year. My mom loves LA. I feel like she planted that seed in me from a young age. She's like, okay, when it's time for college. So when that time came, I moved. I wanted to be in a big city and try something totally different. Washington's amazing, but it rains. Basically the whole year. And so I really wanted to be somewhere sunny and different. And I fell in love after school. I graduated early, but I just needed to stay in the city. I love the culture, the art, the people. I'm super inspired by, the city at large. And so I just knew that I wanted to stay planted here. So how many years out of school am I now? 3 years. And I'm still here, and I hope to have my babies here someday. I love it.
Every time I think about Pepperdine, I just think of PCA.
Oh my gosh, it's real life PCA. That's why I wanted to go.
That was everyone's dream school. I feel like when you were younger and you're 12 watching Zoe 101, it's like, that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, I think I told my dad that, and he was like, good luck. I would love to go if I were you too. And literally fast forward, and I went, and I was Zoe IRL.
No, literally, you really pulled it off. Okay.
Really pulled it off.
Let's get into daily drills. How did that come about? How did you guys meet?
Literally Instagram. We started a fashion account together, and we didn't know each other. We had never met. It was 5 girls. We thought we were cutting edge by doing like the first Instagram influencer, quote unquote, account that was run by multiple people. So that's how we met. And then after college, kind of like finding your footing in LA, we started a Bible study and became best friends. And so it kind of happened after that, but we had been friends for a while before we came super close.
And Ralph always had her hand in the influencer world. She's an influencer herself and does social media. She ran a couple different social media accounts. I came from a startup background doing marketing. And so we had always kind of collaborated on ideas and talked about different ventures that we might want to do one day. I had my own sweater line briefly. She had her own t-shirt
in like 7th grade.
Yeah. And so we kind of always had just like naturally gravitated towards fashion, and we were just iterating on different ideas. And literally on a Wednesday night, I texted Ralph and I was like, okay, we just have to start activewear. We were both actually doing some freelance work for a woman who's, really well versed in the production merchandising industry. And so we came to her with our idea, and we're like, okay, we just want to start activewear. Like, it might just be one capsule, one collection. We just kind of want to test the market. This was actually like at the very beginning of the pandemic. Yeah. And so we were like, people are gravitating towards lounge. Like, let's just go for it. And at that meeting, she was like, no, I want to be a partner. And we were like, what? With us? Really? And she's like, yeah, no, I want equity in this company. And that was kind of like that marking for us. It was like, okay, we're on to something. Like, let's just go full-fledged all in. And so I took my 10,000 and Ralph took her 10,000. And it felt like a lot at the time. We're like, let's just bet on ourselves. Let's just put it in, try, learn, test. If it doesn't succeed, like, we have learnings. And so really that's how we started. My sister came up with the name Daily Drills. We had a name and the trademark was taken on it, and we're like, crap, okay. But like Daily Drills is cool. And it just kind of like stuck and it lingered, and we felt like there was something just strong about it.
Yeah.
And so in November 2020, we put our black leggings and our black biker shorts. And most of our money went to legal fees. So it was really, really what we could conjure up at the time.
Yeah, like 3 black leggings is pretty much what we could afford there.
Some white t-shirts. We were like, let's just put our patch on it and see how it does. And the feedback was incredible.
Yeah, it worked.
If you guys know me, you know that I love clothes. Today, actually, I posted to my YouTube channel an entire closet room reveal. Exactly. That's right, guys. Not just a closet tour, a closet room tour, because that is a level that I'm at with my clothes. I converted an entire bedroom of my house into a closet. Okay. So with that being said, I love clothes, but it does get pricey. It gets hard. It gets a little bit wasteful. And that is why I love Nuuly. I've talked about them before. I know you guys are loving them. It is incredible. So since life is officially happening again, that means that we're wearing real clothes. So I need to put you guys on to Nuuly. It is a monthly clothing rental subscription. Every Nuuly subscription includes your choice of any 6 styles you want to rent each month. You choose whatever you want for whatever you have going on. It's totally up to you. You have access to thousands of styles from more than 100 brands. There's everything from party dresses to premium denim. I'm talking nice denim, guys, to one-of-a-kind vintage pieces, which are always my fave. Nuuly stock styles in a range of sizes from petite to plus sizes up to 5X plus maternity. They carry labels like For Love and Lemons, Love Shack Fancy, Free People, Anthropology, and more. I've actually been wanting to get a Love Shack Fancy piece recently. They have fast, free shipping and returns and professional cleaning in Nuuly's state-of-the-art laundering facility. That means no laundry for you to worry about. That's just beautiful. Then you also have the option for you to buy what you love at a discount that is sometimes up to 75% off. I love the savings. Renting through Nuuly means getting to wear more, sometimes thousands worth of clothing while spending way less. It's a win-win for your closet and your checking account. It's also fun. It's designed to give you everything you need to get inspired, get creative, and explore your style and check out new trends. Nuuly is sustainable, and Nuuly lets you love fashion in a way that's kinder to the planet. So orders are placed in recyclable, and reusable totes with no plastic packaging. It's also flexible. There are no fees, late fees, damage fees, or fees to pause or cancel. So no big deal if you lose a button, you spill something, or you just need to take a break. Your life needs to flex, and Nuuly gets it. Nuuly is already a great value at $88 a month for any 6 styles. But right now, you can get $20 off your first month of Nuuly when you sign up with the code ILOVEYOU20. Just go to NUULY.com, that's Nuuly with 2 U's, and enter the code ILOVEYOU20 at sign up to get $20 off your first month. That's NUULY.com, Nuuly with 2 U's with code ILOVEYOU20. Nuuly subscription clothing rental, change your clothes.
When did you guys decide to leave what you guys were doing before and go full time into Daily Drills?
I was doing social media in the social media space. I was helping other businesses grow their online platforms. And I felt like, okay, it's really fun to help other people and other women create what they're passionate about. But what am I passionate about? I kind of want to, I've done influencer stuff on my own account, but I kind of wanted to grow my own personal brand versus working for a lot of other brands. So I kind of think that's where I was at. It was in the middle of quarantine in July. It's actually when Kennedy texted me that night. So it was kind of that season of slowness that everyone felt last summer probably. So I feel like that's kind of when I decided I had extra time and I had extra resources and I was sort of looking for the next thing. So it was perfect timing for me.
I was full-time. I had been full-time with a food company for about 3.5 years. And just kind of felt that itch in my soul to start my own venture. And so I was kind of riding that wave of tension for a little bit. And we really decided on this. I think September is when we finally capitalized on the idea. And then by January, I had quit my job and gone full time with Daily Drills.
I love that.
After I was begging Kennedy, okay, you need to be with me all the time.
Please. Where do you even begin? You guys said you had this idea, you wanted to do it, you went and met with someone. After that, what were your first steps?
I feel like our first big step was finding a name. I know Kennedy touched on that, but finding a name.
It's the hardest thing.
It was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And then it made it actually feel like it was going to be something once we named it and put it on paper and got a lawyer to draft up an LLC and a contract and got all of that not as fun and glamorous stuff out of the way. I feel like that was a huge step. Saying yes was a huge step when Kennedy finally quit her job, when I went in full time. I think another big step was we have a partner, as Kennedy was mentioning. So getting that whole situation sorted and then finding our very first piece. We felt a lot of fabric. We tried on a lot of different things. We went to probably 50 stores one day and tried on everything at every store. And we're like,
here's the thing.
I don't like this.
We have expensive taste, but we couldn't afford our expensive taste.
So we had to get a little creative and our other partner helps us with manufacturing and production. So it was so nice to have someone that was well-versed in that space to be able to teach us and guide us along the way. I feel like if you're listening and that's something that you want to do, just getting a mentor that has done it before, even if it's not going to be your partner, but just someone that you can ask questions to and ask advice. It might be your mom or your dad that started a business. It might be someone in the actual space that you're doing. But I felt like that guide helped us because we didn't know what the next steps were supposed to be,
We came to her with what we liked and what we were wearing and what people were asking about on social media and said, okay, here's what we're thinking. And then she'd be like, okay, this fabric is great, but it's not that durable. This fabric is awesome, but it only comes in a few colorways. So she really gave us that foundation. And I feel like probably 4 years of knowledge. She has 20 plus years of knowledge in the field. But, you know, that 4 years of knowledge that we would have had to like really grind and learn the hard way, she kind of brought to the table. And so we just gave her pieces we loved and then started iterating. Okay, we would want the leggings to be a little shorter. We would want the waistband to be a little bit tighter. We want more of a compression fabric. So we started fitting those. And then really, I mean, we started as an activewear company, but we soon learned that people were really loving the loungewear space. And Ralph, for the longest time, was telling me, Kennedy, we have to do an oversized crew neck. I was like, Ralph, no, we are an activewear brand. We need to like maintain the vision, the identity. Nobody knows us yet. She's like, Kennedy, let's just test it. And it was crazy. We've restocked that crew neck probably 4 times and it sells out within 24 to 48 hours. It's nuts. And so really like, we're now kind of landing in that transitional piece category where you can wear it to your workout. You can wear it to brunch. You can wear it to a meeting.
You can wear it to a podcast.
I mean, yeah, literally. Yeah. You can really dress it up or down. And so while we started as an activewear company, it's really morphed into much more than that.
Yeah, and I think that Kennedy and I were just talking about it on the way over here. I think we're going to laugh in a year at this podcast at where we are, because I think we're going to maintain our vision of Daily Drills and what we set out for it to be, which is transitional pieces, things that girls feel comfortable, confident, styled in. But I just think that we're going to have so many other pieces that we couldn't have dreamed of, and we're going to be like, wow, we started so small and we have listened to our customers and evolved from there. Like, people DM us crazy ideas all the time, and thankfully we have the resources to be able to create anything from nothing, you know? So I think that it'll just be fun to see in a year or two where we evolve to, but right now it's mostly active and lounge.
I think that's really important though, regardless of what industry you're in and what you're doing, the idea of like holding things with an open hand and like allowing yourself to evolve and change, because even in like my own career, like certain things that I'm doing, like that was never the beginning vision, but it's so much better now. I think for me, it was a little bit hard to kind of let go of the vision that I had before and like step into other things, because I was so set on what I thought I wanted and I didn't know what I wanted, you know? Also, so I was 17, 18 when I started. It's like, why would I, you know?
And it's good to start with a vision, I think. I think that helps you start. And I think the biggest hurdle sometimes is starting. But yes, like you said, hold it with an open hand, because you never know. Some things might come your way that you have to say yes to and step into, versus just, no, this is what I set out to do and I'm doing this and that only.
Yeah,
you know?
Those blinders I feel like really stop you from exploring so many different categories and styles and variants. And I mean, we started with women and now we're developing pieces for men, because so many girls were like, there's nothing that I can buy for my boyfriend. My boyfriend's been stealing my oversized crew neck. And we're like, oh, okay. So like women are the primary shoppers, but there's also this like need that isn't being met for men. And so how can we step into that?
That is so smart. How did you guys originally get your sales? Was it from like people that followed you on social media, friends? Like, what was the main source?
Ralph has an extremely, she's not going to say it herself, so I'll say it. She has an extremely loyal following. I mean, people live, breathe, die, whatever Ralph posts. And I always knew that. And that's why I was like, she would make a great asset and partner to me, because we bring totally different skill sets to the table. But something that's so special about her is really her cult-like following. And I didn't understand the depth of that until we started a business, because those followers have really transitioned to our brand. And it's crazy. Like, Kinsey, we will post a question on stories. What color do you want next? And I'm not kidding. You will have to scroll for 5 minutes to read all of their responses. They're leaned in. They want to hear what's coming next. They feel like they're supporting Ralph and I and what we're creating. And a lot of young girls who, especially now, like, it's easier to start a business than ever. Everything's at your fingertips with TikTok, with Instagram, how-to videos, stuff like that. But people want to look up to people who are similar age to them, maybe went to school for something of the same caliber, and want to know that next step. And so I feel like we've just had such a leaned in audience. I mean, our first round of sales, like, we laugh at it now. We thought it was so good. I don't even know. We probably did like $20,000 in sales. And we're like, oh my gosh. And then really that pot just grew bigger, and we were able to invest in pieces that we were most excited about. And that's when we really like adopted that continued cult-like following.
And I think that our followers like to tune into us, because if they tell us that they want this sort of color, they see that color being made. So then that's why they keep investing, because they think if I write this in, which it is true, if they write it in, we'll make it, we'll do it. And I think one of the smartest things we did, that's Kennedy's idea, she bragged on me, so I get to brag on her. She just has the strategy, business, marketing mindset. I love marketing. I love all of that, but I'm more creative and big picture, but Kennedy actually knows how to execute things. So she was like, okay, I feel like we should turn our Instagram on private before we launch. And then everyone had to request to get into our Instagram account, and all the people that requested got a password that allowed them to enter the site 12 hours before. Yeah. We literally decided this the day of. We're like, okay, we should do this tonight. It was the day before we launched. And then I think at like 9 p.m. we opened the site, or we shared the password on our Instagram account that was private. So only those, like, I think it was 2,000 people could go in, and pretty much by the morning when we opened up to everyone, everything was sold out. So I feel like that just kind of like, you're part of our friend circle, our friend group, the first in the know. I feel like that really helped us at the beginning get that first wind of sales that can be super, super hard to kind of get when you're starting out a brand.
I think people just love being involved too, and feeling like you guys are their friend, and then feeling heard. Also from, like, obviously on an influencer marketing standpoint, that's like where I am. I totally understand that. But I think like the thing that people miss out on is that's literally like free market research. Like, you don't have to do anything. These people are telling you, these are your shoppers already, and are telling you exactly what you want. So it's really cool. Okay, I saw you guys are recently in print. How does it happen?
Yes.
Like, what's the process to that?
You know, we actually don't know ourselves. Us Weekly, is it US or Us Weekly? Yeah. I'm not sure, whichever one.
We love them.
We love them, but they featured us in a story.
And you didn't even know?
Oh yeah, I almost missed it. I was like looking through our unread
in an
DMs.
Instagram story.
Yeah, in an Instagram story. And so I reached out to her. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the feature. Like, we'd love to lean in further with you. So we sent the social media coordinator some pieces, and she was like, oh, let me get you into the buzz section. And so it's been so crazy. I mean, it's such a God thing, the amount of people who have totally championed us and surrounded us, the amount of DMs. I mean, we'll get assistants for big influencers or talent, and they'll be like, oh, my boss would love this piece. Will you send it to me? It's wild. Yeah. I don't know where the momentum really started. I can't even really put my finger on it, but it just has continued to evolve. Like, Ralph shared a picture yesterday of our piece that we're launching this week. We had more shares than units.
Wow.
So we're like,
oh no.
You know,
that is so cool. As far as like building a team and leading, and obviously you guys have a partner, what are things that you really look for and value in like maybe a potential hire?
I mean, listen, I don't know what I know about hiring. I know being on the other end of things, what kind of culture I want to work in, what kind of leaders I want to surround myself with, and what inspires me at the end of the day. And I know that any environment where I've been inspired, it's been a scenario where I've worked my ass off for the brand. And so really, when we were thinking about hiring, I wanted to hire for character over gifts, because you can teach talent, but you can't teach character at the end of the day. So I wanted people who were honest, trustworthy, who had a strong conviction to work hard and hustle. And we also are super transparent with both of our interns, and we're going to have to start building out a team pretty soon here. But we're really transparent with them. Like, whatever they want to learn at the end of the day, we want it to be a valuable experience for them. And it's a two-way street, right? Like, we want to, and Ralph's so good at setting culture. Ralph shows up to work with a smile on her face every single day. I mean, you cannot rain on her parade, and that's something I've really learned from her. But it just makes you want to lean in. It makes you want to work the extra hours. It's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's a culture where having fun isn't hard. And I think if you set that, it's like all the hard work kind of like falls to the sides. We'll be packing, 400 orders in a day, but we'll turn on music and we'll go to margaritas after, and we make it a fun experience. And so it's long-winded, but basically when I'm hiring, I try to look for character. I try to look for people who I want to work with every single day, who want to learn, who are obviously competent and capable, but there are so many competent, capable people out there. It's at the end of the day, somebody who wants to learn, who wants to grow, who has a great attitude and shows up and is ready to have a good time.
Yeah, and I think that something when you've hired someone, a really good tip is to give them or to make them feel like they have ownership of the brand. Our interns have our passwords to literally everything. And I think we obviously have a lot of work because it's just Kennedy and I and them two. But I think that once you give them tons of tasks, they can actually see their personal work contributing to the brand and the brand's success. So I feel like the more ownership someone, an employee, an intern, anyone has, they feel like they're valued and valuable. I feel like that's when they do the best work.
I completely agree with everything you said, especially the ownership thing. That's something I learned in like my internship in college, and that was a huge thing.
Seriously.
The more someone feels any sort of ownership, the more they're going to lean in. What is a day in the life like as running Daily Drills? I know it's probably different every day, but still.
It's not glamorous. It's not sexy.
It normally starts with biker shorts and a sweatshirt. That's pretty much what we wear every day because we do get down and dirty. I would say Kennedy and I normally start the morning with a workout. We are either testing our new pieces. We have a new active situation coming out soon. So we normally go to a workout class in the morning, come to the office around 10, would you say? 9:30, 10, pack some orders, do customer support, get our office ready, talk to our interns, look through what's going to happen for the day.
There are so many different things that happen. I mean, we have to plan our pipeline about 6 months in advance just because of the amount of time. I mean, all of our pieces are cut and sew, hand dyed. We're not buying in bulk and adding our patch to it. We're really creating the pieces from scratch. So there's so much work that goes into the pipeline, to shooting, mood boards, site. Like scrappily put together our website and are uploading the product pages and the product descriptions and the email blasts. So, I mean, really, any touch point we have our hand in. So it depends on the day, but I feel like we have a running list of to do. Thank God for Ralph.
Yeah.
But it's a Google Doc and that's what's working for us right now. I don't think it'll work for us like long term, but right now that's our little project management system. And it's really just tackling whatever that day has. Some days it's a crazy amount. Other days it's a lot of content creation and just kind of like vision setting for our future pieces and shoots.
I love that. Do you guys have anyone in the business space that you either admire from afar or maybe a mentor of yours that is doing something that you think is really cool?
I feel like we're surrounded by so many badass women.
So many.
Someone who we both really, really, really admire is Natalie. She's the founder of Bala Bangles.
Yeah.
And she's just been so instrumental. She's so helpful. Every time I see her, she's like, okay, who do you want an intro to? And how can I help you? And when I was there, I remember feeling this way, but remember this. And I think she's just created an amazing empire, honestly, and has really tapped into such a niche category and learned how to evolve and grow. I mean, especially stepping into the pandemic, like she wasn't afraid to evolve and to create new things. And she's not afraid of being wrong. She has no ego. I feel like every time we're around her, super inspired by her.
Yeah. And just the fact that she's built this huge brand that pretty much everyone has touched Bala before in their lifetime. But she's so humble and so unassuming and you would just never know. So I think that's super attractive to Kennedy and I too. She's such an open book and just still the sweetest person ever with all the success and lives in LA and has a little baby. So she's just someone I think that we want to be like. And it's just nice to have someone to look up that's 10 steps down the road, but can also remember when she was where we are.
Is she from Texas or am I making that up?
She's from Austin.
Yeah, she Cuban invested, right? Something like that? Shark Tank from that? Yeah.
Kennedy knows her because they used to demo product next to each other.
Isn't that crazy?
God, that is crazy.
Actually, I think it was in this building. It was in this building that I met her. Yeah.
Wow.
How funny. Full circle.
Do you guys have any like podcasts that you listen to or books that you've read that have helped you?
I have one podcast I listen to all the time. It's by Bob Goff, the Dream Big podcast.
I love him.
I love him. He's literally my favorite person ever.
Yeah.
I listen to his podcast on my runs like every single day. But I just love how he's so happy and positive and
He's so your vibe. I so see why you love him.
Compliment
100%. Yes.
But just his dream big framework and how you can kind of go after anything in your life. I feel like it's super inspiring. It's a lot of faith-based people that he has on his podcast, but I think the dream big framework is something that I really learned from starting a business. So I love his podcast.
Do you guys have a story where like maybe it was like, I don't like the word failure necessarily, but like something got messed up. It was really tense. Like, how do you work through those moments? I can tell you do as you're laughing.
Oh my gosh, it's every other week that the factory like underproduces or all of the dyes had to get sent back because they're damaged and the color doesn't match because it's all small batch dye. So it's really hard to exactly match a color. So we've had so many different scenarios where there was a fabric shortage, things were delayed like 3 weeks and we're like, we have sales goals to meet. And so we've really had to like pivot and be like, okay, we're going to introduce a new product then before. I don't have any specific scenario.
I remember when we first launched our Hamilton bra, remember Kennedy's on the phone. I was like, oh my gosh, it's not okay. And Kennedy's like, it has to be okay. We're going to be fine. I'm like, oh wow, I'm normally the positive one, but Kennedy's really feeling good about this. I think our units were like a tenth of what we ordered came in because the fabric was flown in and it was really, really short. So that was sort of stressful. And we've had a lot of those, like no patches on a huge bulk item that we ordered, or wrong color or wrong sizing, things like that. But it's
just
not,
roll with it.
It's not been too bad yet. Thank goodness.
Yeah. She is like the more carefree one. I'm definitely a little bit more uptight. And at the beginning, I remember, when something would go wrong, my whole body would just tense up and I'd be like, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? This isn't right. And now I'm like, okay, it'll work out. Like, no patches, great. Limited edition. It's just you learn how to roll with it. Limited edition.
You really do. Yeah. And no one knows like
Yeah, that's such a good point. That is so true.
Yeah. We've had so many photo shoots where we're literally editing, like in post, putting patches on. It was see-through, but the actual like end result wasn't, but our photo samples just weren't the actual piece.
If you haven't had a fashion brand, so you have photo samples before the actual production comes in, so you can shoot the collection before the collection, the full run actually comes in. So a lot of times the photo sample is the sample right before you finally finalize something. So if the fabric needs to be changed or if a color needs to be altered, you have the sample prior. So you might not have the full exact sample that's what's being sold. So you have to kind of work with what you got, which we've done.
One of my best friends is the like co-owner of Twin Flames, and I hear from her all the time. I'm like, I don't know how you deal with it. It's so much, but you're right. You have to just be okay with things and pivot. Last question. What do you think has been your biggest lesson in your first like year in this business?
Dream big. Honestly, I am so risk adverse. I'm scared to start things, and I feel like Daily Drills has really ignited a fire within me to just say yes to things when I know in my gut it's the right yes, and to go for it. I quit my job. I remember being like, oh, if we can just hit this sales number, and then we hit it, and I was like, oh, we can do it. And so I've started like talking big. I'm like, okay, Ralph, so when we have a team of 6, here's what we're going to do. And here's the kind of person we're going to hire. And here's a 3PL we need to start thinking about. And I'm starting to hear myself dream bigger, and it's addicting, but it's also just so gratifying to be able to like see your work from start to finish. And that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't able to dream bigger than I could see, right in front of me.
I love that advice. And I think that something I always tell other people is to say yes often, because even Kennedy, when she texted me on that Wednesday night, all my job was to do is say yes. But I feel like saying yes seems easy, but in the moment, it's easier to say no. It's easier to let life sort of pass you by. It helps avoid difficulties, avoid challenges, avoid all those problems that we were talking about. But when you say yes, you're stepping into something that's for you, that I personally believe God made for you and planned for you. So I think that saying yes to things in your gut are right, or even new, like saying yes to a podcast, and we've never even been on a podcast before. I just think that it's very powerful, that small little word. So I love that. Yes if you're listening.
I actually lied. I want to end off, what are your your Alfred orders?
Oh, wow.
I strike you as a matcha girl, huh?
Yeah, I already know.
I do matcha latte, almond milk, iced always. Or if I don't want to do an almond milk very early in the morning, like if I'm trying to intermittent fast, I'll do the white coconut iced tea. It's actually really good.
I should try that.
That
sounds so good. Wait, do you intermittent fast?
I try.
Okay, so I need to hear more about this, because this is something I want to do.
I listened to your episode on it.
Yeah, I really need to do it. So what time frame do you do?
I do very loosely 12 to 8.
Okay, that's
sort of.
Try.
Yeah, it's honestly not that bad.
Do you notice?
I just noticed that I'm not as hungry. Like in the morning, I used to wake up starving. I can't eat before I work out. So that has helped me, because then I work out in the morning, so I don't have to eat before, which is nice. And after I work out, I normally am not super, super hungry. So I feel like that prolongs it. And the white coconut tea actually comes in clutch, because I've done it for years. So now I don't even crave breakfast, really. It kind of makes me feel sluggish if I do. But like the podcast I was listening to of yours, he was so right. You kind of have to start slow.
Do you find yourself having more energy with it?
So much more energy. That's what I need. Especially in the morning.
Okay, that's what I need. Yeah. Well, I'm getting my labs done with Dr. Cole right now. So I'm like trying to not change things up until I have that information, so I can really tell. So I'm in this weird like in between of like, oh, I don't want to take this or do this, and then try, Yeah. Anyways, what's your Alfred order?
Well, I'm not fasting. I'm drinking coffee and lots of it. I like an oat milk cap, or if I'm doing matcha, an iced oat milk matcha. Yeah, unless it's pre-wedding bought, and then I'm iced almond milk.
your third wedding at this point, right?
My fourth wedding day, I think.
Is it actually your fourth?
Yeah.
Oh
but
my
it's going to
God.
happen this time.
Yeah,
It
no,
is.
this time you're actually good.
I have 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to really amp up wedding content. And I need like TikToks.
Okay,
Your sister
wow.
killed wedding content on TikTok.
I know.
Killed it.
I need more time in my day.
Yeah.
We need it. I would literally, Kennedy, I was like, what do you want from Alfred? I know her order, but I was just making sure. And she ordered almond milk. And I was like, oh, wow, we are wedding body ready.
We are new women.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Where can they find you guys and also Daily Drills?
At Shop Daily Drills on Instagram and Shop Daily Drills online. And yeah.
And your Instagram?
Oh, where they can find us personally.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm at Mary Ralph.
At Kennedy Critchlow.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
It's a blast.
All right, guys, thanks so much for listening to the episode. Now we're doing the listener call-in.
I love you so much, listener Colin.
Hey, Kenzie and Dom. I'm not going to use my real name, so I'm going to go by Blair. I feel like it's really hard trying to navigate the dating scene in your 20s whenever you're not into like hookup culture. So I'm on dating apps like Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, whatever. Obviously, a lot of people on there are not probably looking for serious relationships, and I'm not necessarily looking for a serious relationship either. However, like, you know, I want to go on dates, see what's out there, like live it up. I just moved to a new city, so I'm trying to, you know, meet people, try new things, and usually a good way to do that is with a date, because I don't necessarily have a lot of friends here yet. So what is your advice for how to navigate dating and like sticking up for yourself when it comes to your boundaries and not giving into those boundaries? Because hookup culture is just definitely something I don't want to participate in. How can you like figure out who's really trying to be serious and who's really just trying to scheme with you until they get what they want out of you? Yeah, I guess that's my question, just how to navigate like hookup culture and how to avoid it. Thanks.